Hey there. Thank you for tuning in again to see your favorite red-haired, silver-tongued devil with a heart of gold with a chip on both shoulders live in the flesh at Rogue Reviews, giving you the hottest scoop on the latest slice of paradise from Hollywood, the new blockbuster film Nightcrawler. And oh my sweet dear lord, this movie was an absolutely pleasant surprise that struck like a complete bolt of lightning at a left field. And I can't say enough good things about it. Honestly, it's easily one of the best films I've seen all year, without a doubt. And it is about a character named Louis Bloom, played by the amazing Jake Gyllenhaal, who is basically a thrill-seeking adrenaline junkie who is looking for a calling in his life. He's an incredibly lonely guy. He's very isolated on a self-imposed basis and is basically very socially inept and has a very unique skill set. And when he finally buys a used camera and starts filming car crashes, drive-by shootings, and breaking news stories, he develops a relationship with a news director played by Rene Russo, and then basically becomes a nightcrawler, someone who lives at night for the stories of the evening and the dark side of humanity that no one cares to see face to face and is more comfortable with watching on the news. And so, first of all, Jake Gyllenhaal, wow, this is easily fitting into the pantheon of incredible crime capers that he's beginning to craft a series of for himself, following in the footsteps of incredible cinematic pieces like Zodiac and the other film he was in with Hugh Jackman, Prisoners, which was also directed by a Canadian. And in this movie, though, he really sheds his skin of being just a Hollywood pretty boy by not only losing a ton of weight to play Louis Bloom, which you can even see in his cheekbones, but honestly, he crafts this incredibly unique character that lives vicariously through his camera. And since he has such a hard time dealing with reality and like interacting with other people on a social basis, and has an incredibly unique perspective on the world, it's almost like he has an easier time showing everyone around him how he sees everything through his camera and through these breaking news stories, especially when it's the complete like macabre facade of human nature that we pretend to be happy or pretend to deal with reality, when really he shows us everything that real life has to offer, including all the ugly darkness. But Gyllenhaal finds a way to make that darkness illuminating and show you the other side of it. But at the same time too, although like his character Louis Bloom might mean well intentionally, so in the world of deontological ethics where it's his intention that matters, I guess you could call him a good guy. But in the long run of things, there is no black and white morality in the film. Everything is very gray. And yeah, Gyllenhaal plays a total voyeur who has no idea how to deal with other people, but he makes himself accessible as a human through his talent, but gets into some very shady moral quandaries, conundrums, and quagmires. But watching with the way he deals with it and copes with reality is incredibly interesting. He puts on a magnetic performance that's equally electrifying as it is disturbing. But up next, you have Riz Ahmed, who plays Louis Bloom's partner, Danny, who's basically riding shotgun both figuratively and literally for Louis's story, and he winds up being Louis's assistant, who makes the whole story accessible for the audience because he allows you to vicariously like see how you would deal with working with a guy like Louis or being around him by revealing how he deals with it himself. And often he's like completely shocked by not only like the extent Louis is willing to go just to get a story, but like how crazy his work ethic is, how he deals with people, and anything he's determined to do in a world where the end completely justifies the means, especially when they're competing against other night-crawling news crews like Bill Paxton, whose character is a supporting one in a briefly minor appearance in the film, is also incredibly interesting and shows how competitive the world of being a nightcrawler newsman really is. But to be honest, the total underdog comeback performance in this story and in this film was beautifully executed by the highly underrated Rene Russo, who is totally mostly known for, playing like the badass chick cop in the Lethal Weapon movies, and then, the sassy actress in the Elmore Leonard adaptation of the movie Get Shorty. And honestly, I hadn't really seen her in anything too big that came to memory until the Thor movies came out, where she plays Thor's mom. And man, does she really wear that dress for an older lady. But anyhow, long story short, she plays Nina, who is the news director that Jake Gyllenhaal's character Louis Bloom reports to and turns in his footage to and meets her demands. And he almost starts to get like romantically involved with her. But no, what a comeback performance. It honestly, her in this movie as Nina honestly reminded me of Marissa Tomei in The Wrestler, and a few other snapback performances like that have recently surfaced in Hollywood, where you see these chicks that haven't been in anything in a little while really, make a striking mark. Same with Rosanna Arquette in Boardwalk Empire. I thought it was amazing, but the biggest thing here with Nightcrawler, and what really makes it stand out and creates itself as a classic to me, is it is director Dan Gilroy's touch with how he executes the story. And since he has this really weird character that he completely created on his own, it makes sense that he made this script, that he penned his directorial debut, because you can tell he hung on to this script for a really long time, and he is mostly known as a screenwriter. He wrote the script for Real Steel. He also wrote the script for The Bourne Legacy with Jeremy Renner, and so you could tell this was his baby. This was his passion project, and he was holding on to it for dear life with great reason. And to be honest, the film has a very eerie effect, not only in its cinematography and the lighting, because obviously most of it's shot at night. He really does an amazing job of showing you the world around the audience in all these everyday places through Lewis's eyes. And his symbiotic cinematic relationship with Jake Gyllenhaal in this kind of role is amazing, because to make a character so eccentric, so emotionally and intellectually accessible is amazing. Like Lewis's whole monologue on not that he doesn't get people, but that he doesn't like them, and his camera work as his way of coping with the world around him was not only incredibly multi-dimensional, but it fleshes out the character in a completely different way that you never anticipated, where you not only empathize, but you start to even sympathize with this guy who is all over the map and has completely shattered his moral compass a long time ago. And thank you, Dan Gilroy, for this incredible modern masterpiece. I would totally go see Nightcrawler again in a heartbeat, and I still think that it will stand the test of time, absolutely. And to be perfectly honest, I would give it an 8.5 easily, maybe even an 8.57. The replay value on it's going to be amazing, and I can't wait to see what the special features are like for it on Blu-ray. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, or leave a comment. And check me out on Twitter. It's at the Alex R. Young. And thank you for your time and effort. Signing off, do yourself a favor, have an absolutely enchanting evening, and stay tuned for my reviews upcoming for Interstellar, Hunger Games, and Foxcatcher. They're right on the horizon, folks, so same bat time, same bat channel. Take care. Bye-bye.